Hey, welcome to 100 Mile Drive. In this quick video, I want to discuss why these plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are more of the headache than the actual benefit that they provide, and what are some of the things that people get wrong when researching for this type of the vehicles. First, let me just start by saying that if we remove $7,500 rebate that Trump's administration is more likely to do, then I don't see any reason why would anyone consider this plug-in hybrid vehicle over the regular gas engine car, because it's just going to be way more expensive. And the reason I decided to record this video is because I'm getting a lot of complaints from friends and some of my relatives who bought these vehicles and now they're not happy because of how they work, and it just doesn't work in every single scenario. Moreover, there are a lot of folks who don't even have a way to plug it in at night also buying these cars because of this one misconception. The biggest misconception that dealers fail to explain to their buyers and instead show them these attractive lease numbers is that plug-in hybrids in terms of technology are completely different than the self-charging hybrids. It's basically not a self-charging hybrid with a bigger battery. Plug-in hybrids prioritize electric battery compared to self-charging hybrids, meaning if you have 26 miles of EV range in this vehicle, then it will first deplete this EV battery and then switch to the gas engine. So it will only work in the mixed mode, right? Let's say you have it in the hybrid mode, in this case it's called normal. It will only use gas paired with electric when, let's say, you are accelerating fast or you are going on ramp or you're climbing a hill, then there'll be gas and electric motor running together. But in most cases, when your RPMs are low, in plug-in hybrid vehicles, it will run on EV only mode until it depletes the battery. And guys, this will mostly work in only specific scenarios that I'm going to discuss next. Where in self-charging hybrid, first of all, you don't need to plug it in, and the battery is constantly being charged by the engine, by basically the generator, and it finds these optimal ways where it uses the battery and then it getting charged again. And that's why overall you have a much better fuel efficiency in self-charging hybrids compared to, let's say, plug-in hybrid with depleted battery. And now let me actually discuss who would it work better for, these plug-in hybrids, and who should basically completely avoid this type of the vehicles. And now let's quickly discuss who these plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are going to work the best and who should completely avoid it and maybe consider a self-charging hybrid. So guys, if you have a route, right, which is mostly commute, work, home, home, work, which is very specific and it fits within the EV range or slightly exceeds it. For example, this has 26 miles of EV range, and let's say your commute is around 50 even miles, right? Then your EV range plus whatever you're gonna run on gas will give you, let's say, an average of around 45 to 50 mpge, which is a good number and it's a good fuel efficiency, right? And if you can run this vehicle in this mode, let's say 5 times a week, then you are succeeding with this car, right? Because you'll be able to plug it in at night, providing you have a charger at home that you can connect this every time you basically come home, then it will work for you. But for most folks, what ends up happening is that that's not how you use this car, right? First of all, you do some kind of road trips, right? And even if your battery is charged, it depletes pretty quickly, and then you just run on the gas only mode, and it just brings all that numbers quickly down. Also, a lot of folks run errands, right? And let's say I have 26 miles, I go run, 10 miles, I bring it home. What do? Okay, plug it in. And if you don't have a way to quickly plug it in, then it's a problem. Or let's say the electricity rate during the business hours is much higher than night, and that's why all the EVs are usually charged at night. But we have a very short EV range in most of these cars, so that becomes a little bit of a problem. So most folks run into a problem because they don't use the PHEVs how they are meant to do, which is mostly commute with a limited distance, right? Most folks use them just like regular cars and realize that it's almost like, imagine if you have a cell phone that only has a 20% of the battery, right? And you constantly need to connect it to the charger. So that's the scenario here. Of course, you have your engine backup, but you constantly need to plug it in, because you have to, use this EV battery to the most as you can. So now let me quickly talk about the pros and cons of this vehicle. So the two quick pros that I can think of right now are this. Number one, there is federal rebate of $7,500 is still available. And in many local states, there are more rebates that can apply to this car, meaning you can still buy today this car much cheaper than its gas only counterpart. And the second is that if this car really works in your specific scenario where, like I said, you can have those commutes where you're gonna prioritize the EV battery mostly, and then you're gonna plug it in at night, then definitely you're gonna save a lot of money on gas, and PHEV will work in your case. But now let's talk about the cons. The number one con is that these cars are more expensive than the regular cars, right? And if the rebate is not there, then just like I said, they're kind of useless, right? In this case, let's say Toyota Prime, right? They ran out of the rebate and it cost like $50,000. And there's so many out there. I know people buy them because they still rely on Toyota's reliability, this and that, but still it's not as attractive than, let's say, the CX-90 PHEV, which has a really crazy lease special. The number two is the limited EV range, which I already explained, and it will mostly work in the specific scenarios where you can prioritize EV battery and you can plug it in. The number three, it's just heavier than the regular car. So the driving dynamics is kind of impacted, I would say, compared to the regular cars. And in this case, the CX-90, it's also not as smooth, right? I broke it down in my dynamic driving review. So they haven't done, I think, a great job with PHEV. And I think a gas-only version of this will be much more dynamic and more fun to drive. And number four, I'll say that it doesn't act like a self-charging hybrid. And I think that's the huge limitation of these cars, is that once the battery is depleted, yes, it has regenerative braking, you can recuperate some energy, and sometimes it does switch back to EV for a short while, but it's still not enough to have a really good overall fuel efficiency when you're not able to plug this in all the time. So these are the cons. And finally, guys, I just want to wrap up this video by saying, here's what I'm expecting to see in the near future in terms of plug-in hybrids. First, I want the EV range to be at least 75 or maybe even 100 miles of EV-only range. And hopefully they can achieve it with some new technology of the battery, maybe some solid-state batteries, where these cars can travel literally, like I said, 75 to 100 miles. Second, I really hope they can bring technology to PHEV as a self-charging hybrid, meaning once the battery is depleted or maybe there's a little bit of battery left, all you need is like a 1.1 kilowatt, right? And it can literally switch to self-charging mode where we can get, let's say, 34 to 35 mpgs from a car like this, similar to what Toyota Highlander hybrid is. Until then, I don't see any real reason why I would personally buy this unless I can, like I said, use it in a very specific reason. And I hope you guys can do your review, rent these cars, test drive them, make sure you like them, make sure it can work in your specific scenario. So if you found the value in this video, hit the like button, consider subscribing. And if you want to watch a full dynamic review of this Mazda CX-90 PHEV, you can watch it right here. And there's another video I have for you where I compared all Lexus RX trims, including the plug-in hybrid 450h Plus. How is it different? You can watch it right here. And I'll catch you in the next video.